Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 3 of OP Ada. In last episode we got our first wonder down, expanded a lot and started to get the ball rolling on our science domination. Right now we're taking a look at our legacy paths and we're on pace to have a very good start. Already got one of the 3 of science and economics done. Just checking on our city-state, Nuka-Laka. Mesa Verde is on its way. You also want to pay attention to where you put your influence in city-states, because without noticing, a different AI can and will try to take that city-state from you. Been quite some times where I thought I was, winning on their friendship, and then it turns out that I should have put more influence in them. Because there's always an option to invest another 100 or 200 influence into a city-state. Plus 6 science per turn is nice. Only down to 49 influence though. But we are doing great. 67 in science. We need to get our culture up still. 101 in science though, that bothers me. Bothers me to be second, but Confucius, it kind of makes sense. So go along with it. Checking out the tech tree. Engineering is always a good one because we want to get to mathematics. Mathematics is key to having a science victory. Taking a look at rankings, we're leading on the science and the economic. We're second in military without even expanding because you get +1 every time you lay down a new settler. And then the wonders, we want to make sure that we are not leading wonders compared to Atsafet. So again, another that I mentioned at the trail end of the last video, the easy thing is getting the codexes, or in the later ages, the antiquities and all that. But the primary concern is having the buildings to put them in. So you could usually always put them in your palace, or in this case, a library. But we need to get more down, and to get more down, we're gonna need more cities. Since Ada has +2 science in every cities for every tech or civic mastery you do, that benefits us. We have 1 turn till that stops building, and then we'll get another settler out. We have 4 cities. We're doing great. We're at our cap. 150 culture, 300 happiness. So with this, 150 culture is going to clear that 1 turn out of the water. So we're going to go to something that takes way longer. I do like entertainment for the Coliseum. Citizenship for 22 is good. But I kind of like to stay in the same line. It usually ends up working out. Like, you don't have to rush. Like, you don't have to go in a straight line to, let's say, like literacy. Just go down the line. So, again, that brings it down from 12 to 7. So if we wasted it on the 1 turn, we just lose out on all that science. Or I'm not sure where it would go. If you do know where it would go, drop it in the comments below. Here we can expand a little again. Which way do we want to expand to? This is a +2 production tile, so most likely gonna do that. See, I don't want to waste influence on +3 food. Yes, our cities would grow faster, but we're really missing out on a free tech and a free civic. I don't know. I don't know about that. Gonna move our commander out because we're gonna get another settler down. So gonna move our commander out to where we want to put that new settler that will be done in 3 turns. This Holche is gonna save that spot for our settler because that's most likely where we're gonna send it.
The Holy Lord
Now our settler is going to finish at just about the same time that our cap limit increase. And so you got Mundu Perdido right here, the +1 happiness and science on each building, but we already built it. +2 science on happiness building, +2 culture on happiness building. These are going to be great. How many happiness buildings do we have though? Oh my! We just went up to 75 science. Now we're only trailing Confucius by 15 science. Soon, hopefully, we'll be in the lead. We're going to take the camels. The camels will let us expand our resource slots. So we're going to take our +2 happiness in the capital. Also, you want to be careful with that. When I was first starting the game, I thought this was kind of universal. So I get +2 happiness in the capital and +4 happiness goes to any other city. But I'm pretty sure how to accurately read it is if you put this resource in a different city other than your capital, it'll receive +4 happiness. Your capital won't receive any. But if you put it in your capital and receive 2, and the other cities won't receive any. So when you see it written like that, you want to put it in the place where it gives you the most happiness. So here's another great example of how to expand. So we want to expand towards the opposing AI, opposed to just getting the best settlement. What I don't like about these, well, that was just an alliance. So what I don't like about alliance is they will drag you into wars that you do not want to be in. And if they drag you into a war when they're ready, but you're not, it is going to be a bad time. So he loved us before that. Now he just likes us a lot. I'm fine with him just liking us a lot. I don't need to be your alliance. Now there is some civs that will give you bonuses if you are in an alliance with them, for both of you, or mementos rather. Like Ben Franklin has a memento at level 9 that unlocks that'll give +10 science to both you and your ally. Right now, don't need it. So we're just moving that Holuche out a little farther just to give us a little bit more, you know, just expanding the fog of war a little bit so we can see enemy movements. And we're just gonna wait all of these guys. And when you put them on alert, if an enemy unit does come close to them, they will become actionable. So they won't just sit there. If you put them in fortify, on the other hand, they will just sit there and get attacked. Alert, it'll let you know when they're close and give you the option to move. So now we have another settler to send out. Now, which way do you want to send it out? Frederick is expanding very fast close to us, but we do have this great tile right here. A ton of resources around it. You have the cotton, you have the kettle, you have the beans, camel. You also have all this open area. Now the villa will give us +3 science. So I'm really looking at the villa, but we also want to get our military rolling, and our military is only going to be 1 production. +2 support in all wars is really good though. So again, I like to put my wonders on the second layer of the city. Again, you could expand out to 3 tiles in any direction of your city. So the first tile out is kind of like 1 layer. The second tile out is the second layer. Third tile out is the last and final 3rd layer. But I like to have them in the second. That way they provide bonuses to the first and the 3rd layer. instead of just your capital and what's surrounding it. Here we're just pretty much trying to figure out how we're going to expand further. Because even with that one, we're going to have to get a sixth one down. Going to do a merchant because we want to keep everybody friendly. So we want to send a trade route out to basically everybody. Now the altars will also, and the monuments, also have more perks than just what the tile benefit is. Especially with the Pantheon. So any city that has a monument with your Pantheon is going to receive a further bonus of the +1 science per quarter. So any tile that you have 2 buildings in, all of a sudden gets another science. Very nice. I do like to get my unique quarters built as soon as possible, but usually as soon as possible is after all my production buildings are built and after a few science buildings are built. So again, I'm just making sure the tile is suitable for both buildings in that unique quarter. And it's also very important to get down walls, especially at the end of the age. So at the end of the age, it's kind of pointless to build non-ageless buildings or even units if you don't have the commanders for those units to be held in. Because when the ages switch over, you're going to be able to keep as many units as you have commanders for. Especially when it's like 98%, you have your option between a 2-turn wall or a 2-turn unit, which you're not even sure you're going to be able to keep. I'd rather just, you know, up those walls because your city is going to be much more harder to conquer. Again, we're trying to stay as super friendly with Frederick. Frederick likes leaders with wonders in their capital. Dislikes those with buildings in their capital. So we do have one wonder, so he kind of likes me, you know? And this is the big thing. She does not like people that have more wonders than her. And again, she is a super aggressive AI. So we want to try to keep her as happy as possible. We're going to do 2+ culture. That ups it by about 5. I think we were at 31 culture before. Now we're at 36. And it's always nice with your science tech and your culture tech aligned. So they're both at 2. So that's going to be a huge boost that we have in 2 turns. Our culture is a really, really hard path to get to by your own without war and antiquity, because you need 7 wonders. Now, we could rush 7 wonders for sure, but we'd probably go to war. The better bet, if you want to go that route, is to, you know, build like 4 or 5 and then conquer a city that has 2. And there you go. That is 7. You don't have to build them. You can just take them. So we don't have anything we really want to switch out. So we're going to just leave that the same. We're going to go ahead and choose another civic. What civic are we going to choose? We're going to go with the Terracotta Army is pretty good too. But the Mastery, +1 culture for specialists is also a really good stat to have. Or a social policy to have. Entertainment, on the other hand, will give us +1 settlement. 16 compared to 9 or 6. But the +1 settlement, we have to expand before the AI takes up all the land. We also have our science, which we want to figure out. +1 culture on culture buildings, really good. And that'll lead us into mathematics. Now we have the blacksmith here. It's +6 production. Huge. On top of the barracks, it's just a great production tile. But again, as I mentioned in previous videos, you don't necessarily have to have the tiles aligned to like production, science. You really should just aim for the highest outputting building on that tile as you can, along with the other highest output building that you can have on that tile. So if you have a 10 science and a 10 production, those together, if those are your two highest, put those together to get to 20. So that way, when you start adding specialists later on in the age, it'll be way more beneficial and you'll be able to get to that 40 mark much quicker and far surpass that. I think the highest I got a tile up to was like 68. I have seen playthroughs of like short little clips of, I think Xerxes is a good one to have with, I forget which civilization it was. If you remember, drop that in the comment below. But it could get out of hand. So again, it's recommend us going a little west to settle our city. But we're gonna do it right here. Of a +2 production. And the reason we chose that +2 production instead of the +2 production above it with other benefits to it is because we want to expand towards the other AI. Now we did improve our trade relationship, so we're at 1 out of 2 with Confucius. So we will send it there, but if it gets there and somehow we unlock a road to a different civilization like Frederick or Hats that we have not made a trade route with yet, we will reroute them to keep us in as friendly territory as possible. About 43 culture, not doing that bad. We're getting crushed by Napoleon on culture, 100, but our science is 93. We're doing great. We're in a great spot. Most people like us. Nobody hates us. We have this whole area that we have to watch out for too. We're gonna start thinking about pulling all of our scouts back to our area. Scouts are great at scouting out foreign territory, but really a lot of scouting is done in the exploration age with your missionaries because they do not care about borders. They will just continue right on through. Again, that's a gold offer. We already have a steady influx of gold coming in. We're gonna refuse this alliance again because again, Napoleon might bring us into a war that we want no part of. He again went from loving us to liking us. He's friendly. If you hover over the thumbs up itself, it'll let you know exactly how it'll give you the breakdown.
Perfection
moving.
is achieved, not when there is
So we
nothing
unlocked
to
the
add,
mastery for engineering.
when there is nothing left
The ancient
to
bridge
take away.
is pretty good. Allows you to move over that section of the river. It gives you +4 gold. In my opinion, it's not the best wonder though. Amphitheater with +7 culture, or we have the Oracle. Oracle will give you 10 culture per age. So basically in Antiquity will give you 10, and Exploration will give you 20, and then the Modern will give you 30. Every time you come across a narrative, which is that little book that pops up on the next turn screen. Now we're just trying to find like a suitable place for this. We put it here, but that's kind of right on our city gates, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. +10 culture per narrative. If you get it early enough, it's super beneficial. Not too big of a fan of the placement, but get it going. And we go to military training, which is a good one. It unlocks flanking, but again, we're going for that science victory. So we really want to get mathematics out of the way, which you can see here, research mathematics and build an academy. And then we're going to need 10 codexes to finish this. And the codexes are unlocked through I believe it's the tech mastery. That unlocks codexes, just say +1 codex. but those are what that's for. If you needed that. And then on a note with the merchants, you could also expand to your city states if you would like to. But unless they have super good resources, I don't really recommend it. I more so recommend being friendly with the person that you're actually trading with. See, like Babylon will let me do it. Not bad resources. And Mesa is getting there, so that means they just started to be kind of friendly with us. We're not Sues yet, but we're friendly. And we have +6 science per turn. We're up to 96 science a turn. Confucius is still dominating, but we are triple everybody else. Very nice. Then of course, the more signs you have, the more advanced military you'll have. Everything sort of plays together in civilizations. It's very, very nice. So here I'm just thinking about like, how do I expand here? And then also like, how many tiles are in between? Because my cities aren't fully grown yet. They're gonna expand, as I mentioned prior, 3 ways out from the center each way. Or 3 tiles out from the center each way. So it's kind of just, you know, what it is. So we're going to take this happiness off. We're going to add a camel, and then we get all 3 slots back. This gypsum, though, +4 on any other city besides your home city. So we're going to move that up. Now we have 8 resources, so we unlocked another civilization to play with. And we decided to move the camel down to give Chichen Itza a much bigger bonus. So milestone complete. This is because we unlocked, I believe, 14? Yeah, so now we're going for 20. So now we have 14. Now, economic. Okay, this path, Silk Roads, is huge if you finish the economic progress tree before the exploration area. Because that will gain us Silk Roads, which will allow to keep every converted city into a city in the next age, which is, it's huge. Like, you could certainly take the +2 attributes to economics, but I think keeping every city is big, especially when your income isn't that much. We're gonna go with another camel. Now, at first, I didn't think that camel showed up, but it did. It just spawned under Chichen Itza, which you can see below now that Chichen has 2 camels. We're gonna move that camel up, increase the science from 46 to 51. And then we're gonna move the happiness over. And don't sleep on happiness. Happiness is really good. Happiness is really good because it leads to celebrations, and celebrations will give you a boost to whatever sort of government you chose at the beginning of the game. In my case, it's +20 science and plus production for infantry and ranged units. Go ahead and finish that turn. We are rolling. We have 104 science, and now we have 49 culture to boot. Also, 40 happiness is not bad for antiquity at all. Especially since we haven't invested too much on happiness buildings. And I really want to convert Uxmal into a city ASAP. So we still want to expand into Napoleon up there because I don't want him taking any tiles away from me. We put our scout, our Jaguar scout, on a lookout just to clear the fog of war there, because we do eventually want to get a city there. Because if an AI puts a city there, that's a little too close to home for me. And see, Babylon, I mean, We have the option to do it. It's basically our only option right now, just because we don't have any roads to any other civilizations that we could do. So we'll take another resource. We need 20 resources anyways, so we need as much as we can. But it's really nice to have production in your city instead of food and happiness. So we're gonna add the production to our capital and give the city-state happiness. And then we're also gonna strip another town from production. We're gonna upgrade Uxmal to a city. So that allows us to build things. I'd much rather convert a town to a city. For like, let's say in this case it was like 700 or something like that. 700 something. Much more rather do that instead of paying like 500 for that building. Like, why pay 500 for a building when you could have a whole city and just let it produce the building? Then of course, I'm going to do all my production buildings first and foremost. And we're going to expand. So as you notice, I'm not expanding any farther north because as you see, the purple is the capital. You can only expand 3 tiles up. So we're already expanded that much. So now I'm just going to spread out as normal and gather all those resources. We only have 47% right now. So the long age that we changed in the settings under advanced seems to be a cool idea. First time doing it, but seems to kind of be working out how I'd like. See, now Zunin is as far to the right or far to the east as possible. We also unlocked the first out of the 3 tiers of the culture because we just built the oracle. Let's go! I love wonders.
And hear the voiceless.
But again, we have to be careful about how many wonders we build because Hats is going to get mad. We don't want Hats mad. Hats is Hatsupsep. I can't pronounce. But again, we'll turn down the we'll turn down or just agree to it. The food offer. Get another city-state going if we become the Sioux of that city-state. Since we already became the Sioux of a science city-state and a culture city-state first, we're going to get a free tech and a free civic when we become Sioux of that state. So super clutch to become Sioux in this game. In this rendition of civilization. This is a great tile. I mean, a lot of great tiles to put this guy in. Zavilla, it has 2, 4, 6 plus 5. That is 11 total. So that is a huge building. This is a 7. So we want to make sure we put... These are our 2 biggest producing buildings that we have right now. So we want to put them together. Just so we get the most out of this tile. Once we put specialists into it. So pretty meticulous. Some tiles you don't want to build in because like next to a mountain will give you additional culture, or some buildings require a river to build on. So you also want to be kind of thinking forward in where you place your buildings. +2 war support is very good. You could always buy world support or war support with influence. And I always recommend you do. Always be on the positive in war support. See, we want to be behind Hats and wonders. So we can construct another wonder if we want to. We are already producing 2 buildings. The amphitheater and the villa. So this time we could not afford it because we just gave 170 influence to Anuradhapura. Anuradhapa.
All
It's a good trick with saying names. As long as you say them fast, nobody's gonna notice. +1 settlement. +2 happiness in all settlements. That's really, really good. And it also unlocks the Colosseum. The Colosseum, I'm a big fan of. Played a lot of games using Rome and Caesar. So their individual tech tree unlocks that quicker than the normal tech tree. So I often go with that. So we're 1 turn away from researching mathematics. Science building will receive +1 science for every city-state you are suzerain of, which is huge because we are suzerain of a lot of cities. The production towards constructing science buildings is not bad either, but since we've primarily focused on production buildings first, our production for the science buildings is pretty low anyways. So I'd rather have more science than a quicker building of science building. So if you go from building a science building in 5 turns to 3, I'd rather wait the extra 2 turns and have +4 science on that building forever, or for the length of the age. Pro tip. I'm gonna move a settler up because we just unlocked another settlement. Then we have +25 culture, +25 science, or happiness. I think we're gonna go with the culture. The mathematics is gonna be completed in 1 turn. We could always switch around the technology, as you've seen me do in previous videos. But +25 science is really that much, so we just threw it on culture.
Geometry in the humming of the
All right, so we have mathematics. Pyramid of the Sun. +3 culture, +2 culture on quarters in this settlement. Great, great wonder. Oftentimes it's built by the time you get to it because it is such a great wonder. But we'll go ahead and check to see if we can build it. And look at that, we cannot. But we can build the Colosseum, which will only take 8 turns. Colosseum is a great wonder. Big fan. We have 1 science, 4 culture. Huge. And it's also away from another wonder too. Like, you don't want your wonders touching each other, but having your buildings be surrounded by wonders, that's great. All right, so we get 50 culture. That's a narrative, so we get 60 culture from that because of the wonder. The Mundu. That we could gain 2 codices in 6 turns, but we're gonna backtrack a little bit and probably go with military training here for the flanking. Now, flanking is basically you go to attack somebody and then you get that combat action motion, especially if both units are still alive. Then you could go with another unit around your original unit and attack them from one of the sides or behind. And it'll give them a additional attack chance at that. Now, we could found 3 more towns, but we're almost close to our limit. So we don't have, I don't know if we're going to get to 8 towns right now. And we're going to check to see how many more settlement options we have. And this is when I realized this is one of Mayans and perhaps even, Ada's, maybe. I don't know. I guess it's mainly Maya, but Rome, their civic tree allows you to get way more settlements than Ada does. But also, it's also because I'm not going down the military attribute tree. A lot of trees here. So the attribute tree to the far right of the military attribute, probably 3 or 4 down, there's a +1 settlement. I don't even think we've touched military yet. And in a lot of games, the Momentos I'm taking I usually do take attribute momentos, but not this, since I wanted to see how Kite and Key and Bifocals play out. And they've been working quite well, I must say. Very happy with the random selection. And how did I choose those Momentos? I looked at Ada's perks and was just like, hey, I think this might work. Let's try it. And here we are. There was no super math computations when I chose those, so I'm really glad it worked out pretty well. Now my scout is alerted since there is somebody close to me. There's a warrior. We're just gonna go with the +1 food in all settlements. I think, because founding 3 more towns does not seem like it's gonna happen. It gives us 1 culture attribute, which is not bad. +1 food per settlement is gonna help us grow a little bit better. Not too much. I wish that narrative would have happened way earlier. Maybe when I was 1 out of 1 for my settlement cap. That would have been easy pick. Then you can see, as I said before, these tiles will expand production wise as you move forward in the game. So don't be hesitant if you're surrounded by 1 tile, 1 production tiles, because they will get bigger. Here, I'm just trying to pick the best tile. There's +3 production right there. Went there just to expand a little further. Not my best idea, to be honest. Should have went with the +3 production, but And then of course, we're always going to go with the production building. So +5 production. Also, say it's like a +5 production, you don't want to build that production building on a tile that you have a building in that is like, plus, let's just throw out some random super high number, +25, and then add the 5 production building. You want to look for like this 3-1 slot, which I have it on right now. So with that's 9, which is not the highest outputting tile in the world, but I mean, it's okay to place it there, but you really want to save those really high outputting tiles or buildings for the same tile. And then it looks like we're going to put in a little cut here. Looks like we're on a phone call or bathroom break real quick. And then we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. All right, so we have to manage this hostile little warrior here. So we're gonna throw some damage on him. Look at this. We also have a stack of settlers moving our way. One from Napoleon and one from Frederick. So we really have to. We don't want any gaps in our civilization. Or our cities rather. So we really have to secure this middle location since we expanded Outsmart out a little far. I wouldn't really call it that far. But they are moving quite fast. We do already have a settler lined up to take this spot, and we're gonna have to find a good home for this guy. Because if we don't soon, they are going to take this spot. And then if our city, if Outsmart gets engulfed in a different civilization's area, it will get overtaken culturally. So we want to avoid that from happening. We really have to find a good spot to land this guy. One of the things I look for when I'm founding a city is first and foremost fresh water. What fresh water will do is give you +5 happiness. Also, what I'm looking for is basically 3 tiles out from my furthest tile of my 3 tile out city. So you don't want to like overlap cities too much because then you'll kind of just be suffocating your own cities. Here, it doesn't seem too bad because we'll be able to get 3 tiles out to the east and then I believe 2 to the west. We've accomplished one branch of the military legacy path. We have one branch of the science. We just need more codices. We're doing great. And unlocking these branches, your first playthrough, you might be like, all right, well, I didn't unlock anything from one of the branches. No big deal. But if you are able to accomplish those branches, you'll get way more perks into the next age, which is very nice. So we are, again, the tile that we chose may not be the best tile, but we want to expand towards the other leaders. All right, that also helps us with the threat of those warriors that were coming down. Because we saw one, but others may come. So here it's also like the game will tell you where to put it. You go by the it'll say +6 in the city build menu, and then you just want to find it on the terrain. Like, it might not always be the best bet to put it on that terrain, but 90% of the time, it's the best bet. It's going to tell you exactly where to build it. So we got 2 huge production buildings down. Then we're going to finish with walls. Oh, also, I think they fixed this, but do watch out. I've had some games where I've had 1-turn walls, and that 1 turn lasts until you fix it. So to fix that, take it off production, go to your purchase section of your city build menu, which you can see right there, and then just purchase it. It should be 0 because it should technically be already built. But if you do have to just buy it, it's better to just bite the bullet instead of waiting, 15 turns for it to actually build, which it won't. You'll just be waiting 15 turns and thinking like, oh, well, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe it'll build next turn. It won't. Okay. So there's, there was one game where I had to reload a save from, 30 turns ago. It was rough.
Never boast.
So we unlocked flanking, which I just explained earlier, in a happiness building. -1 gold for maintenance on troops is huge. We're going to improve the trade relations with Frederick because he's the only one that we're not friendly with. And we just expanded into him, basically. And he's expanding into us. So I don't want us to have to go to war. And then we're over here, basically just collapsing. So again, he's expanding into us. A great situation to unlock ironworking, which will give us our level 3, our highest tier of infantry units. We're going to go for another Civic Mastery, which will give us +1 on culture from specialists, which is huge because we're going to have that throughout the age. Then also, you notice that I'm choosing my science and civic texts before I clicked that narrative, or at least I hope I did. I think I did. But anyways, you always want to make sure that the narrative actually has something to, go to. So if the narrative gives you +25 science and you're not researching anything, it's no bueno. Are we going to get some more walls down? I'm starting to get a little cautious here because as you may have noticed, you're like, how are you not losing to Deity AI? How have they not declared war on you and just crushed you? Because the moves I'm making. Moves, man, So we have this arena. The academy is +6 though, but this is a +8 building, the arena. The villa is also a +9 building. But the academy will also give us places to put our codices, which we really need if we want to accomplish our end goal of getting to that science building. But right now, we just wanted to lay down those 2 highest performing buildings on the same tile, and then we'll find the best alternative for our library. Once we've done that, we will then move our library all the way up. So that will actually finish first. Even though we did all the construction for the higher producing buildings first, we'll still move that science building up to the top. But we don't want to put, like, you know, if those two buildings are 9 and 8 respectfully, and then the 6 science goes on those 9 and 8 tile, or that same tile, and then, you know, it kind of screws us out of like a 16 tile, and could possibly the next best tile that the library went on didn't go. You know, it just want to keep the highest performing buildings on the same tile. Long story short. And if you need me to explain anything further, drop your questions in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. Hopefully all of them. All right, so we're just thinking about which way to expand. So to our south is our own cities. To our north is not. We're not gonna completely reach them, of course, but we do wanna get those tiles, and we also want to narrow that gap between our cities, so another AI can't swoop in and settle a city and expand rapidly. So 30% production towards training infantry and range units is nice, because we don't really have that many yet. And then after a while, we'll switch to the -1 gold maintenance. So you can specialize your cities towards production, which will give you a boost, but it's also nice to keep them growing. Some civs have or one civ, I can't remember which it was. It's Latinitis or something like that. It might be Rome, but those give a 10% boost to basically everything for cities with a specialization, which is really nice. And that's kind of where I got in the habit of specializing my cities. And let's go! Another wonder. Third wonder. The Colosseum.
Rome shall fall. And when Rome falls, with it shall fall the world.
Let's go, big fan. We're gonna end this episode on a high note right there. Unlocked the Colosseum. That's our third wonder. We are dominating in technology. The alarm just went off to stop the episode right here. It's going perfectly. I will see you in the next episode. We might only have 1 or 2 episodes left of Antiquity. So if you did like what you're seeing so far, be sure to drop a like or possibly subscribe for the next episodes, and way more, let's plays, walkthroughs, tutorials to come, and play a lot of games. But drop a comment below if you think my sound does not sound too good, because I'm still working on that. I do hope it sounds good, but I'm sure it's not great. I'm sure it's not the best. There's other people out there. I'm fully aware of that. Drop a like if you like my endgame rants. But on to the next episode, which should be dropping in a second. Okay, 2 episodes a day. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Or no, wait. Don't have a great day. Watch the next episode after that. It's will be posted right after this. Okay, I'm done. I'm done talking. All right, I'll see you. Bye.